You know that spot where they tell you, all the business coaches, all the strategists, everybody says, you should totally have multiple streams of income, but they don't tell you exactly how to create those or where to create those. And more specifically, they don't actually share how to brand your multiple streams of income. So that's what we're here to do today. So grab your Legend pack, crank your speaker up to 11. Welcome to Legend. For those of you I have not yet met before in person, my name is Amber Griffiths, and my company is Your Brand by Design. I am a brand strategist and a maker of legends, like for reals. And today I want to talk to you about your multiple streams of income. So first of all, do you actually have to have them? I'm sure most of you do. It is very rare that I come across somebody who has one single source for all of their revenue. But what I do see quite a bit of is people who have different ways they talk about multiple streams of income. Sometimes it's because they have several packages, several offerings, all within the same umbrella brand, sort of, kind of, mostly. Sometimes they have a direct sales company here, they have something they're doing here, they also have this residual done for you work over here. And so it's kind of all over the place, but it makes sense to them, sometimes, kind of, mostly, sort of. So I guess really what I want to talk to you about today is how you decide how to create them, what they are, how to make sure they make sense to you, and most importantly, I think, is how you are actually creating a brand that encompasses, excuse me, everything that you do, so that when you share what you do, what you live for, what you're passionate about, how you can help somebody resolve their challenges and their issues, you want to be able to talk about that in a really clear, concise, precise manner. Otherwise, it comes across as I do all these things, and they're like, what do you actually specialize in, and how can you help me if you do everything kind of, sort of? If you're just like that jack of all trades, master of none, or do you just not know how to talk about it? So that's really what I want to talk to you about today. It's one of those things that keeps coming up, and it doesn't matter if I'm at a networking event, if I'm teaching a workshop, if I'm in the League of Legends, there's always a half dozen people going, but what if you have multiple businesses? How do you create multiple streams of income? So let's start at the very beginning. And your multiple streams of income, what are they? Are they actual separate business entities? Or do you have a package over here at this price, a package here at this price? You have podcasts over here, you have a book over here, you speak over here. Like, what does that look like for you? And I don't have the right answer for you because, again, everyone's path to legend looks a little bit different, right? So you may be one of those people who have 5 books, you're a 5-time best-selling author, you're an international speaker, but you don't have packages that serve every single piece of your ideal client audience. You're not able to adjust for your high ends to your low ends to your middle. So that might be your road. You may be one of those who has packages all across the board, but not they don't quite all lead to cash flow. So really, I think that comes down as you're creating your multiple streams of income. I think that's really what you get to ask yourself is, why am I doing this? What am I hoping to create? Do I want to have my foot in this industry? So I'm going to create a business in that industry. Or are you trying to plug a money leak? Do you have some place in your business where you're doing all the things and going very, very fast and trying to create all the things, but they're not leading to cash flow? So now you're going to go try something else and hope that leads to cash flow. So ask yourself, what are you trying to create? What is the missing link? What are you trying to solve by creating another stream of income? One of the most common ones I see is, I have a lot of things in the fire. I have a lot of things going on. I don't have the cash flow. That's a different conversation than, I'm doing things really well. I have clients coming in. I'm running out of time. There's a different solution to that lack of cash flow than to, I have all these ideas. I don't know what to do next. So instead, I'm going to go create something again so I don't have to do the sales. That's a different type of issue with cash flow. So, first question for you, where's your money leak? And what are you hoping to create as you develop multiple streams of income or multiple businesses? Often, I find it is less confusing for you and your audience if all the things you're doing relate somehow. That doesn't mean they have to be in the same industry. That doesn't mean they have to be one business. But what I find is, often leads me to number two. The second thing I would like you to do is think about how you are. How are you talking about what you do? So sometimes in fact, I just met with this person, I guess it's been a few months ago. And her comment was, I have these two different businesses. I think they relate. They make total sense for me, but I don't think my audience thinks they relate. And as we got into talking about it a little bit more, turned out that she'd never really asked her audience what they thought. It wasn't feedback from the outside, it was her internal dialogue in the back. It was her monkeys in the back going, this is crazy. Why are you doing two separate things? Why can't and that was the disconnect. It was actually her own. Had nothing to do with her audience. She had never had a single piece of negative feedback about why can you do A and B when they're not related. It was all her own stuff. And which was really great conversation to have because she knew they made sense, but it was an insecurity, lack of confidence type thing that kept her from just blaring out that she did both items, that she had feet in both industries. So ask yourself where the disconnect is coming from. If you feel like there is one, is it because you've had clients going, how are you selling cheese over here and shoelaces over here? Like, what is the point of that? Like, how are you even connecting those? Are you really that good at cheese? Are you really that good at shoelaces? Like, how do I trust you to be the expert in those two things when they don't connect? Is that coming from your ideal client? Because just because it's coming from the out and it's an external feedback, are they your ideal clients or is it the peanut gallery and they should shush? Like you get to decide. This is totally, again, house rules, right? And you're the house. So where's the feedback coming from? Where's the disconnect? Where do you feel like the disconnect's coming from? Is it external? And if it's external, is it your ideal client or is it the peanut gallery? Second, if it's internal, is it just a lack of confidence? Do you honestly think they don't connect? Or are you just not certain how to connect cheese and shoelaces? Are you just not sure how to talk about them in one cohesive way? So, where is the disconnect coming from? Where do you feel like they're not actually serving or you're not able to talk about them at one place? So, here's the other thing I want you to talk about. I wanted to kind of help you figure out, I guess. If you figure out where your money leak is and what you're trying to create, and you figure out where the feedback is coming from, whether it's a good connection and it's easy, hey, Tim, nice to see you. Better now. Let's see, what is it? No, more now than ever. I totally screwed up your tagline. Tim, it's great to see you now more than ever. So if you have all these multiple streams and do you feel like they're being connected? Do you feel like there's a disconnect? Figure out the source of that thought process, not necessarily the source of the disconnect or connect, but why do you feel that way? Where is that coming from? Then, if you already have multiple streams of income and they're under one umbrella brand, but you're not sure how to talk about it, or if you have multiple businesses that are separately branded, maybe you've got a corporate brand over here, maybe you are independent sales, direct sales, or maybe you just have inherited a business, you got somebody's book of business, you're like, holy cow, this is amazing, I love this, but it's not my brand, but I like it. And then over here, here's your passion project, the thing you really, really are excited about and that you really, really love. And you want to, both for income and revenue reasons, as well as to fill your cup, as well as to create impact, to change the world in your own special way. You want to grow all of them all at the same time. There are definitely ways to do it without standing up at a networking event or at a Zoom room and going, I do 8 things, and here they all are. And here's my 8 different businesses, and here's my 8 business cards, and here's my 8 Facebook groups, and here's my 8 Instagram handles, and here's where you can connect with me on 8 different ways on LinkedIn. That made me tired just saying that. Can you imagine how someone who hears you say something like that feels? They're like, I would love to connect. Um, where, how? I don't want to connect with 8 new things and get 8 new newsletters and blah, 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 right? So how do you actually, let's see, would love to know how to, uh, yes, Tim, how would love to know how to tie together my shows as well as my brand. Here's what I would recommend. There's a couple of different things. And because Tim, your path is going to be different than someone else's path. It's going to be different than mine. It's going to be different than Maureen's. I want you to consider the following, I guess is how I should say this. If you have something that you really, really love, whenever I get to that position of I could do these 5 things, what do I do first? What do I do next? I recommend you run towards your joy. And I know that sounds a little woo and maybe that's hard, but here's the bottom line. If you love doing it and you know it leads to cash flow, plus you enjoy the process, you'll actually do it. If it's one of those things that you're like, this has been on my list of things to do for 6 months, and it keeps getting pushed back, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it, and it never actually gets done. There's a reason why. Either you don't want to do it, you don't know how to do it, you're afraid to do it. I would not recommend choosing that first. If your confidence level is not there, if the enjoyment level is not there, the chances that it will actually lead to more cash flow are lower because you won't do it. So find out of all the things you're going to do next, all the things you're going to promote and create and sell next, run to your joy. Now, that might be what you're offering. That might be how you offer it. That might be how you deliver it. So you get to decide where in there is your greatest joy and is your shortest, fastest, most fabulous path to cash flow. That's one of those things I think you should consider. If you are looking to say, I have this brand over here and I want to add something new to it, perhaps consider talking about the benefits specifically. Very similar to when you have what you think is 5 very disparate ideal client pods, right? I can serve this ideal client audience. I can serve this audience. I really love this audience. I think they're all my ideal client. How do I do that without completely diminishing my brand and segmenting my brand? How do I do that without diluting it? You drill down and get more specific about not just their demographics, their psychographics fit into their legend graphics, and you find that common thread, right? And that's how you speak. The same thing happens with your offerings, with your businesses, with your different packages, with everything you're creating. There's got to be a common thread if you get down far enough. If there's not, then there's other ways to get around that too. But there almost always is. There's something that will link what you are doing over here with what you've been doing over here forever, with what you want to do with your passion project over here. There's ways to combine them, especially if you speak to the benefits of working with you in that area, especially if you talk about why you are doing it, especially if you talk about the way they are serving a specific audience. So, Tim, if you've got your brand over here and you want to add shows into it, there's probably a reason why the shows get to add into it. Sometimes it's tied into your why, sometimes it's not. Run to the joy. Oh, your wife's name is Joyce C. And you even call her your wife. Oh, that's sweet. Run to joy. She may actually have really good ideas for you, Tim. So try that. Figure out what your joy is because you'll actually get it done. There will be more love in it. It will get done faster. You will follow up more. There will be more cash flow and enjoyment in it. Then, if you still have very separate packages, speak to the benefits. Why are you wanting to do this? What is the common thread of how you're delivering it, of why you're delivering it, of who you are delivering it to? There's going to be a common thread. The last thing I want you to think about is why. Oh, I'm going to have a software update, really? There we go. Technology glitch. Thank you, Amber Joe. Think about how they are falling into an umbrella brand, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to elevate your umbrella brand. It's possible that the brand you have created so far was, it served you on this level, right? It served this little package, this little pod that you had created. That was a perfect brand for you at that moment. As you evolve, as you grow, as you expand, as you widen your impact, as you deepen the way you serve, as you really connect on a level that makes you unforgettable, maybe it's time to take that brand and go, wow, that was really amazing. And that fit me really well 5 years ago, maybe a year ago. Maybe it's time to say, wow, that actually is this piece. I can also do this, I can also do this, and I can also do this. And what that demands of you is that you create an umbrella brand that will cover all of those things. If you are a speaker, if you're a podcast host, if you are going to do live shows for nonprofits, if you are going to have a book, if you are going to have whatever other offerings, it's possible that the answer is not trying to tie them all together in one word. It's possible that you need to elevate and expand your brand. And that would encompass everything you do. Because the bottom line, my friends, is if you are creating all of them, and you have a why, like an actual deep-seated why I can't not do this in all of them, you are the common thread. You, your passion, your amazement, your persona, your all the things that make you amazing, your personal saucy sauce, that's the common thread. And if you brand like that, if you start with your persona and make sure it's injected in, into everything that you do, that's the common thread. And that's how you brand all the things. So you've got your marching orders. Figure out where your money leak is. Figure out why you're creating it and where the feedback is coming from that it's a problem, if it's true, or if it's just nonsense and your monkey's in the back. And then re-engage your brand. Start with your persona. Talk about the benefits. Remember why you're doing this and why you can't not do this. Because it's you. It always comes back to why you're doing it and why you can't not do it and why you love to do it and why it drives you. Why even if it wasn't bringing you money, you would do it anyway and you would do it twice. That's what you get to tap into. And that's what your brand should share. And that is how you brand multiple streams of income and multiple businesses. Good? Okay, fabulous. Join me next Thursday. We're going to talk about even more fabulous stuff about your brand, your persona, your deliverables, how you create a way to be going from unknown to thought of fondly to unfreaking forgettable. So until I see you next time, whether that's next week or sometime sooner than that, rock on.